We're going to have a look at latitude and longitude today. Latitude and longitude is a skill that all geography students need to be aware of and need to be able to use. So let's get started. Alright, well, what is it? Latitude and longitude is a referencing system that's used universally around the world. Every location in the world has a unique latitude and longitude. Why is it used? Well, it's used for navigational purposes and for locating certain specific places. And what's the difference between latitude and longitude? Well, you can see if you have a look at the map, the globe below you, that there's a whole lot of lines. The lines that run around the world are latitude, and the lines that run up and down the globe are longitude. We'll have a more in-depth look at that on the next few slides. We'll start with latitude. Latitude, as I said before, are the lines that run around the world. They're known as parallels of latitude, just there. Now, the most important thing that we need to be aware of with latitude is that we read latitude first. And latitude breaks the globe into the two hemispheres, the northern and the southern hemisphere. Now, this is where students can get confused, that the lines of latitude or the parallels of latitude, although they run east-west or west-east, are actually telling us how north or south of the equator they are. So that's the most important thing. When we're thinking about latitude, what we're really looking for is how far north or how far south a location is from the equator. So we're always using that 0 degree line, the equator, as our reference point for latitude. And a location will either be X degrees south or X degrees north of the equator. Which brings us to longitude. The technical name for lines of longitude are meridians of longitude. And meridians of longitude break the world into the eastern and the western hemispheres. We give reference again to the 0 degree meridian of longitude. Now, there's a few different names that we use for this. Sometimes I'm just going to try and get my typer up, or I'll use it here. I'll just write it in. We refer to it as the prime meridian. Sometimes you'll see it referenced as the Greenwich Meridian or GMT for Greenwich Mean Time. But basically longitude starts at 0 degrees and the line that runs through Greenwich in London, England. So you can see here on this diagram, it's probably done a little bit better. Here we have latitude and here we have longitude. Now you can see latitude starts at 0 degrees at the equator, and any location is going to be either upwards to 90 degrees north at the North Pole and 90 degrees south at the South Pole, and a location will fit into that. And longitude, it's going to start at 0 degrees on that prime meridian, and it'll go around to 180 degrees at the international date line, which for a whole range of other purposes, which we won't go into here, is not a directly straight line. It does curve and bend around countries. Alright, so we're going to look at the application of latitude and longitude now. So this is a good map to have a look at it. And what we'll do, we'll start with a few locations and then look at reading them. So the first one we'll look at is A here. And what I would say to a student is the first thing you want to do is find that equator and draw a line on the equator. Find the prime meridian, draw a line on the prime meridian. That way you'll know the whole way through when you're reading the locations whether they're north or south or an east and west of those red lines. So let's have a look at A first. And what we notice there, the first thing we're looking for latitude is the location north or south of the equator. We can see they're looking at A, that's south of the equator, so it's going to be something degrees south. And you might want to write that in now. So degrees south, because it's going to be something degrees south. And if we have a look over, we can see that there it's 20 degrees south. So that's our latitude. The next part is longitude, and we look for, is it east or west of that prime meridian that we've drawn in? And we can see there it's east, so it's going to be something degrees east. Track that line up to the top, and I'd say that there looks like it's about 100 degrees east. I'll rub it out and we'll do a few others. Alright, the next one that we're going to look at there will be, we'll have a look at somewhere on the other side of the world, a different location. We'll have a look at G up here in the United States. So let's start. I'll get you to pause here and you can have a look and try and work it out for yourself. Alright, welcome back. Hopefully you've had a look and we can go through it. So the first thing we do is our latitude and work out, is it north or south? And well, we can see there, looking at it, G is north of the equator, so it's going to be something degrees north. So track that line over, you can see there it's right on that 40, so 40 degrees north. Then looking at longitude, is it east or west? And I think we can clearly see there it's west. Track up again, and that appears to be right on that 100 degree line again, so 40 degrees north, 100 degrees west. We'll do one more. I'll get you to look at location. I'll get you to look at location C. Location C here is one that can often throw a few students. We're looking really for latitude first. Is it north or south of the equator? We'll see there. We'll say for our purpose here, it's right on the equator. It's neither north or south. Latitude references north or south of the equator. If it's on the equator, we'll say it's 0 degrees, which references that it is on the equator. Longitude though will tell us whereabouts on the equator it is though. So you track up, firstly looking east or west, and it tells us we definitely can see that it is west. Track up to the top, and it's 140 degrees west. I'd suggest that you have a look at some of the other locations, try and work out the latitude and longitude for yourself there. Okay, just as an overview, this has been simplified latitude and longitude just to degrees. Now, if a student was being asked in the more senior years to look at latitude and longitude, you would be required to look at minutes and perhaps even seconds, which is something that you can that we can go into a bit more depth at a later date. But hopefully, this has been an adequate introduction to latitude and longitude for you, and you feel a bit more confident in doing that skill. All right, good luck.